Okay, this is gonna be a rant about something that is really, really annoying to me and has been annoying me for a couple of years now. You know about the Minecraft versus Terraria fight that's happening all over the internet, right? Quite frankly, you can't have an opinion on the internet, so it's only natural. However, with that said, do you also realize that there is a fight happening between Terraria and Terraria? Because it is happening. I'm talking about the constant fighting between the PC and console versions of the game. And yes, I know most of the community isn't involved in this, and quite frankly, I'm thankful for that, but this is just something annoying that I really want to say something about. Let me start off by quickly breaking down what both sides are complaining about. The people on the PC side are constantly complaining that exclusive content is on the console version. This includes the Okram boss, retextures of enemies, and 3 new sets of armor. There are other small things, but those are pretty much the main things that everyone's talking about. The people on the console side of the war are complaining about Terraria's 1.3 update and the fact that it's only on PC. For the most part, this includes the lunar event, rebalanced classes and gear, new enemies, and revamped biomes. And yes, for the record, I do know that it was recently announced that the 1.3 update would be coming to the newer consoles, but that's not my point at all. Now that I'm done briefing you on both sides' complaints, it's time for some history. It might make more sense after I explain it this way. By the way, for the record, I cannot cite what I'm saying because the old forum was taken down, so you'll just have to take my word for it. But I have been there since Terraria's beginning, so I pretty much know how Terraria went from the start. Originally in Terraria, the furthest you could progress was Hellstone gear. At that time, the game was getting updates extremely frequently, pretty much every other week, maybe even every week. As time went on though, the updates started to kind of slow down, and you could tell that Redigit was starting to get tired of updating the game. However, in one final update to make the game how he wanted it, he released the gigantic 1.1 update. This update is what introduced the entire concept of hard mode, and hallowed gear was now the furthest you could progress in Terraria. After the 1.1.2 update, if I remember the number correctly, Redigit decided that it was time to move on and basically called it quits on the updates. This frustrated the community and everyone was pretty much demanding for more. Behind the scenes, however, Relogic was working with 505 Games to release the game on consoles better than ever. This was the first update that Terraria fans received in a long time. The console version of the game was the same as the PC version, but it also contained exclusive content, including a final boss, Okram. This was what people wanted at the time, a final boss that drops material to make new endgame gear, or really more simply, just something that screams this is the end of the game. This is what started the PC side of the war. PC players were extremely unhappy that they had to buy a second copy of the game in order to get the full experience. After a long time of the PC players complaining to the console players, Redigit basically reappeared out of nowhere and announced that PC players would be getting a huge update, the 1.2 update. This was the update that introduced Crimson, Plantera, and other rebalances. At this time, endgame gear was the variants of Chlorophyte you could make. After this, there were more small updates here and there, but nothing huge. This is what caused the console players to start their side of the war. The PC players now had a huge update while the console players just had Okram more or less. Of course, the PC players didn't care about the console exclusives anymore because they had so much more. Eventually, the 1.2 update was ported to consoles. Now take a guess as to what happened. No, seriously, guess. The PC players got annoyed again. Why? Because now the console version had more content. Then came the 1.3 update for PC. Take another guess. What do you think happened? Now the console players are unhappy. Do you see the pattern here? Whichever version currently has more content gets a bunch of hate for no good reason. After all this, all I can really say is just why? Why, console players, do you not understand that the update will come, but it's just gonna take time? Why, PC players, do you not understand that, to put it quite bluntly, the console exclusives don't matter at all and is not going to change your experience in any way? Can't we just get along as the community that we've built over the years should? This whole video is basically for the purpose of me saying this, and it's what I've wanted to say this entire time. Just be thankful that Terraria exists at all, and instead of complaining about what you don't have, realize that Redigit came back because we wanted him to. He could have easily left the game as is and started his next project, but he didn't. He came back and perfected the game that he started. Instead of fighting, just look how much Terraria has evolved over the years, and thank Relogic for their efforts. Do you know how happy it would make Andrew Spanks if you just went to his Twitter page and simply said thank you?